Yet I observe a much broader issue with education today. Standards-based education is ruining the way we teach and learn. Yes, I've already been told by legislators and administrators, Ethan, that's just the way things work. But why? I'm going to answer that question. It's bureaucratic convenience. It works with nuclear reactors. It works with business models. Why can't it work with students? I mean, how convenient calculating exactly who knows what and who needs what. I mean, why don't we just manufacture robots instead of students? They last longer and they always do what they're told. But education is unlike every other bureaucratic institute in our government. The task of teaching is never quantifiable. If everything I learn in high school is a measurable objective, I haven't learned anything. I'd like to repeat that. If everything I learn in high school is a measurable objective, I have not learned anything. Creativity, appreciation, inquisitiveness, these are impossible to scale, but they're the purpose of education. Why our teachers teach, why I choose to learn. And today we find ourselves in a nation that produces workers. Everything is career and college preparation. Somewhere our founding fathers are turning in their graves, pleading, screaming, and trying to say to us that we teach to free minds. We teach to inspire. We teach to equip. The careers will come naturally. I know we're just one city in a huge system that excitedly embraces numbers. But ask any of these teachers, ask any of my peers, and ask yourselves, haven't we gone too far with data?
When they use the word accountability, they mean a simple, fairly mindless, standardized test that acts more as, as an autopsy than it does as a diagnostic. I mean, it doesn't tell you anything except who's dead and dying. Even the achievement gap is a phonied up thing, and we can't buy into it without risking losing the whole argument. And what I mean by when I say it's phony is this, that if you, and you can examine this and look at it, it's not just that high stakes testing is a big, big business, and there's lots and lots and lots and billions of dollars involved. But it's also true that the way you figure out what is an adequate test question is you test it on a group of kids who should kind of do all right. If they don't do all right, that gets thrown out. It's a test about class background. The clearest indicator on how you'll do on any standardized test is the educational level and the income of your parents. Think of how much money we would save if we said, just line up according to the income of your parents. We'll figure it out. It's not that everybody, it doesn't fall out 100%. There are exceptions. But that's what it's testing. It's testing your access to a certain cultural. I remember when I was first teaching, I was 20 years old, and there was a standardized test for I think it was the third graders, or maybe it was the third graders. And it had a little line sketch of kids sitting on a porch, of a group of people sitting on a porch. And it said the people are sitting on the, and then one choice was porch, and one choice was berm, and one choice was something else. And if you've never encountered a porch in your reading or your experience, how the hell would you know that's a porch? You might be able to read it, but it's like if I gave rectangular things to the kids I was teaching at that time, with little boxes in them, I said the people are living in the projects. Nobody would get that in Des Moines. They'd say, really, projects? That's what I do with my teacher in art. But my kids would get it right. So it's a nonsensical thing, and we don't look at it deeply enough.
Well, I've heard a couple of people say, well, I'm here, that Holland is about 20 years behind in an effort to essentially privatize education and turn it into more of a system of discipline and domination, and prevent the, this dangerous conception of free thought and initiative that comes straight out of the Enlightenment. Now, go back to what your ideal university should be. I don't say it's an ideal, but one of the reasons I've stayed at MIT for 55 years is I think it comes about as close to that ideal as any I know. And it's kind of interesting because it was for most of the time I've been there, it's been funded by the Pentagon. But the Pentagon wants a free and open university because the Pentagon, like an enlightened state generally, is interested in the overall state of the economy in the next generation. So a lot of the contemporary high-tech economy that comes out of Pentagon funding wasn't for any particular purpose. It was just, develop the economy of the future. And the end result is it's a pretty free and open place. It works just the way I think it ought to. So, for example, there's one famous physicist there, died recently, but a world-famous physicist who was teaching freshman courses, introductory courses, like a lot of the faculty does. And he was kind of famous for, when he was asked by students, what are we going to cover in this semester, his routine answer was, it doesn't matter what we cover, it matters what you discover. So if we don't cover anything, you'll figure it out on your own, but see what you can figure out. And students are expected to challenge. Like, they're not expected to take notes and repeat it in an exam, but to tell you you're wrong. And they do,